Welcome. I have included a chair class because there can be different times in your life where maybe getting up and down off the floor isn't such a great idea. Maybe you have an injury, you're not feeling really good. These also could be thought of as exercises to do, say office yoga, or any time that you find yourself sitting for prolonged periods of time, you can't get up and move around a whole bunch. So you could do things when you're sitting, not a big deal. So I have a good firm chair here. I'm going to bring my seat to the front. Feel both your feet evenly grounded through the balls of your feet, your heels. I want you to feel that connection with the earth. And hopefully wherever you're doing this, you're at least able to kick off your shoes, even if you have to have your socks on. But feel connection with the earth, whatever the surface is below your feet. You can close your eyes for a moment, sit up nice and tall. Simply the act of sitting up nice and tall, finding length in the spine, may energize you. Often when we're in a chair, maybe we're sitting towards the back and we're kind of slumped, makes you sleepy. Here, prana and oxygen have a nice straight line to follow. If you have closed your eyes, we'll gently blink those open. We're going to extend one leg out, whichever one you'd like to choose, and you can even hold behind that leg. And then do some point and flex with the toes. Pointing the toes away, pull the toes back towards your face. I think I've cotton in my mouth today. Again, maybe you want to hold behind the leg if it's getting a little heavy. And then rotate the ankle. Change the direction of those rotations. Beautiful. Is it getting tired? That's okay. We're going to hold that knee in towards the chest. Good. Give it a good pull. Spine again nice and tall. Good. 2 more breaths. And then release. Other leg, stretch it out. So even just stretching that leg out might feel nice. Point and flex the toes. And as we move through this on the second side, notice if one foot or leg feels different than the other. If one's more of a challenge, maybe. Good. And then some ankle rotations. If one leg's a little harder to hold up, if you maybe need that help behind. We have imbalances in the body for sure. Change the direction of the circles. Might get a few cracks and snaps there. And then we'll hug that knee in towards the chest. Sit up nice and tall. Big breaths. And one more breath. Well done. And release that foot down. We're going to take the feet wide. Open up the hips. Do some wipers. I'm going to hold on to my seat. We're wipering the knees side to side. But what I'm more concerned about is the hips. So they're internally and externally rotating. The speed is up to you. That's good. We're going to stay all the way to one side and drop that back leg down. Let it be heavy. Looking for extension in this hip flexor. And this is a seated lunge, if you will. Lunges aren't available to you. Great, you can use a chair to support yourself. We're still sitting up nice and tall with the spine. And gaze at the horizon from wherever you're sitting. Good. Back through center, over to the other side. And it's sitting on the front edge, back leg dropping, extending here. You can be holding the back of your chair if you need. One or two more breaths here. And then we'll come back through center. ankle to knee pose or a seated pigeon, whichever, again, side you would like to start with, but bring that one ankle up onto your thigh. Be careful it's not pushing on your kneecap. You can actively push that knee away, or if it's okay for you, maybe use your hand to gently push that knee down a little bit more. Pull the toes back towards your face. This feels like a nice place for you to stay. You can stay tall, but some of you might want to explore a bit of a fold. Oh, so good on those outer hips. Good. Sit back up if you're folded. Bring that foot down and we'll switch to the other side. Okay, again, you're going to push that knee down, either by using the muscles of your leg, or if you can gently use that hand, pull the toes back on that foot, maybe fold. Always going into it slowly. Find that first mild to moderate stretch. Stay right there, hang out there. Sit back up, uncross those legs, seated cat-cow, and the hands will slide as we move the spine. So you exhale, pull the belly button towards the spine. Inhale, chest and gaze come forward and through. So as I go back into, say, my cat shape, hands slide towards the knees. As I come forward into my cow shape, hands are coming back towards the hip creases. You can close your eyes here, and if your breathing pattern goes the other way, that's okay, it's still going to work. Don't stress out about that. Great movement for the spine. The flexibility back in it, space between the vertebrae. Good. Last round, I'm going to finish in my cow shape, if you will, my seated cow, and then relax back to neutral. We're going to take a twist. One hand behind you on the seat of your chair, or the back of your chair, I should say. Other hand on the outside of that leg. Sit up nice and tall. I can be looking directly over this way, or if it's okay for me, maybe my head and my gaze go over that back shoulder. You can be looking at the back of the chair. Make sure both your feet are staying firmly planted to earth. Good. Inhale, bring the gaze back to center. Untwist from the top down, and we'll go over to the other side. Maybe this time we'll move with the breath. Inhale, center. Exhale, twisting the body, catching hold of the back of your chair with one hand. Other hand is resting on the outside of your leg gently there. And how far can you take that twist? The head and gaze maybe over that shoulder? Maybe not. And then inhale, gaze back to center, untwist from the top down. We'll do a seated forward fold. Hands are on your thighs. Some of you maybe just lean forward slightly. Others, if it's okay for you, and I'm going to bring my seat back so I don't fall forward. But maybe some of you can come as far as resting your chest in your lap. The hands can come down. Find what works for you. Your seated forward fold, just to the point where you feel comfortable, maybe a little bit of a stretch. Spine is long, head is an extension of the spine. So it's one straight line together. And use those hands and bring yourself back up. Call these waders. I'm going to come back to the front of my chair. It feels more comfortable again so I'm not slumping. Bend both your elbows at a 90-degree angle. Okay, and the elbows are pulled in towards the side body. Begin with your pinky side of your fingers maybe touching. And inhale, take those arms out to the side. Exhale, bring them back. Okay, shoulders are away from the ears. Keep moving with your breath. Elbows stay hugged in, especially as you take them out. There's a tendency for them to maybe slide away from the body. Don't let that happen. So imagine you're a waiter with platters on your hands. Good. Inhale to open. Exhale, returning back to our start position. Good, 2 more. Nice shoulder movement. Speaking of shoulders, pinkies come back together and we're gonna do some shoulder shrugs. So let the arms hang heavy and long. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up. Exhale, drop them. A couple more. Good, last one. Good, inhale, one arm's gonna go up. Exhale, returns down as the other one goes up. Alternating back and forth. Reaching for your ceiling. My arm's going directly over my shoulder. Maybe it doesn't go as far as for you. That's okay. Work with your range of motion, with your body. Good. I'm going to do one more each side. Balance myself out. Good. And then arm swings, both of them at the same time. Up and down. Inhale up, exhale down. Beautiful. Oh, let that go. And interlace your fingers in front of your heart. Push those palms away while keeping the shoulders down. Can you take those arms up overhead? You can keep your gaze straight ahead or maybe look up towards those hands as kind of a variation of palm tree. You pull out from your sides, nice and long in the side body. Okay, we're going to release those fingers. Arms come just down to shoulder height. Palms are facing the walls on either side of you. And pull the fingers back towards your wrist creases. I feel like a little bit of work in the fingers, the hands, and the wrists here. I call this Stop in the Name of Love hands. Shoulders away from the ears. Who knew they could move so much sitting on a chair, hey? No excuses. We're going to tricep stretch here. One arm overhead. Fingers or other hand are going to gently find that elbow and give a little bit of a tug there. Looking for extension in the back of the upper arm. That's the tricep area. Good, and switch to the other side. Your upper body's not going to get too tired. A couple more things to do here. Good, release. Hands in front of heart center prayer. Pull the elbows up so that the elbows are in line with the wrists. You could push your hands into one another, do an isometric contraction, tighten the chest muscles in the upper back. I'm more concerned here with a little bit of mobility, so lifting the elbows up, pushing into the wrist creases perhaps, a little stress on the wrists if that's okay for you. Shoulders away from the ears, one more breath here. Keep those palms together and shoot your fingers forward. Just a little variation, might feel different for some of us. Good, interlace those fingers back together. You can release the elbows and we're going to do some wrist rotations here. Again, this might be one of those joints where you hear a lot of cracking or feel a lot of cracking. And as long as that's not uncomfortable for you, that's okay. If you can change the direction, it's a little hard to think about that, but change the direction of the circles. There we go. I might have been doing some figure eights, which is good too. Circles, figure eights, any kind of movement you can do in the wrists. Hands are working as partners here. Okay, one more thing, a little nooks and crannies here, the wrists and the hands. Yawns and claws. So release those fingers. Imagine the palm of your hand was yawning, so pull those fingers back. Good, and then claws, like you're clawing through some really thick mud, so resisting as you bring the fingers in towards the palms. Again, yawn, slowly resisting there too, and then claws. Okay, do a few more rounds of that at your own pace. This is good for arthritis in the hand, or if you have a job where you're using your hands a lot on keyboards, Smartphones, I know we all have those. Maybe spend a little too much time sometimes on those. You can have a lot of conversations going on with people through texting, maybe playing games on them. Anybody? All right, I'm going to do one more yawn and a claw, finishing with the claw. Good, and finally let that go. Rest your hands comfortably on your lap. Let's move up to the neck. Inhale, center. Exhale, take your gaze over one shoulder. Inhale through center, exhale, gazing over the other shoulder. You can close your eyes here as you keep moving with your breath. Next time, gazes through center, and change that movement. Exhale, tip your ear to one shoulder. Inhale through center, exhale, tip your ear to the other shoulder. Next time, gazes up to center, and exhale, bring the chin towards the heart center. Exhale, roll the head to one shoulder. Inhale through center, exhale, roll the head to the other shoulder. Good, really using the weight of our head to stretch out the back of the neck. Maybe you find a tension line. If you want to stop there, that's okay, somewhere along the way. Otherwise, keep moving with your breath. Rolling, lowering the head side to side. Coming back to rest in center, take a breath there. If you've closed your eyes, gently flutter them open and lift the head up. We are going to stand up, and we use that chair for balance when we need to, if we need to. If you don't use your hands, just ground down through your feet and sit up. If you need to use the sides of your chair, that's okay, and hoist yourself up. I'm going to do some salutes. I'm going to find a good way to place my chair. Yours is okay, probably where it is. Okay, some salutes. First into mountain pose or Tadasana, so feet are hip width distance apart, all your toes are pointing forward. Begin with the hands in front of the heart center. Inhale, sweep those hands up, gaze straight ahead or up towards your thumbs. Exhale, hands float back down in front of heart center. 2 more like that. Inhale to sweep. Exhale, returning. Wonderful. And if you need to use your chair for balance here, go ahead. We're going to do some toe lifts. See if you can lift just your big toes off the floor. Put the big toes down. See if you can lift the other 4 toes up. Oh, I haven't done this one for a while. And then alternate back and forth at your pace. And is that more difficult than you would expect? Those toes get stuck together, socks and shoes. For a lifetime, really, since you're a baby. They've been putting cute little booties and socks and shoes on us. Good. I'm going to use my balance for the next one, okay? So gently bring my hand to the back of my chair. I'm going to trace the alphabet, one foot and then the other foot, so you will lift it up. Now the alphabet is your choice. It can be uppercase, lowercase, it can be printing or cursive, whatever you want to do, but the whole alphabet. Great ankle movement. Maybe it's a bit of a brain exercise too. Oh. I don't know what's the easiest alphabet to do. Let's not make it easy for ourselves. So I am doing uppercase, printing. I'm at N. Where are you at? Ooh, it's burning too. The calf is working now. X, Y, and Z. Oh, maybe shake it out or walk it off a little bit. Over to the other one. Same thing. We'll trace the alphabet. I'm biting one foot very different than the other. The ankle, that is. I'm at R. Good thing I don't actually write with my foot. It would be quite sloppy. Y and Z. Oh, let that go. Okay, calf stretch. I'm going to turn my chair this way. We're going to put our hands on the seat of your chair. Back the hips up. Back the hips up. Hips are over the ankles here. Kind of push your weight back. You also feel this hamstring stretch, but calf stretch all the way down the backs of the legs. If you're not feeling it, you might be a little too close to the chair. You have to back it up a little bit more. Nice. And hey, let your belly go while you're there. No one's going to see you. Let it hang out. Letting go of tensions, maybe bindings in the belly. One more breath here. Good. So off your knees, walk the feet towards your chair. I'm just switching it back so I can use the back of the chair again for balance, a standing quad stretch. If it's available to you, reach back there, catch a hold of your ankle or something. Maybe it's your pants or your sock. Knees pointing down towards the floor. If you don't need the chair for balance, of course, you can let go. Maybe extend that other arm up. I have it here, so I'm going to use it. Why not? Good. Good, one more breath here. Release that over to the other side. I'll challenge my balance here, but if you need to move to use the back of your chair, go ahead. Knees pointing down towards the floor. You can keep the hand on the hip if you're not using your chair, right? Or maybe that other arm goes up. If you're practicing your balance, find something on the horizon to look at, something that's not moving. And narrow your focus in on that spot. Good, I can bring my arm down, release that leg. Paddle those feet out a little bit. Lateral lunge with or without the chair. Lateral just means to the side. It's a fancy word, to the side. So if I wasn't using my chair, feet go wide, and shift over to one side. But you could be using the back of your chair here. I'm going to be blocked, but I'll move in a second. So you can use the back of your chair to do that lateral lunge. Nice stretch on the inner thighs. Good, up through center, exhale, lunging to the other side. Doesn't that feel so good? I hope so. Okay, back up through center. Bring those feet together. You can use the back of the chair again for balance or not. We're going to do a piriformis stretch standing. We did the same position on our seats. Cross one ankle onto one knee. Sorry, above the knee onto one thigh, that is, ankle to thigh, okay? And then maybe sink down, using your chair for balance, maybe letting go, maybe hands in front of the heart center. Piriformis, this outside of the hips here. Good, carefully stand up and switch to the other side. Kind of like having this little helping hand here beside me. Whoa. Balance can differ on one side to the other. So if you are practicing your balance or challenging that here, notice that. And don't beat yourself up about it. Ah. Good. Maybe use your chair to get back up and bring that leg down, pedal out. We're going to do a little squat. With or without the chair. For the squat, you're going to take your feet a little bit wider, your hands on your hips, exhale, come down. Could be up high here, some of you maybe come a little further, drive the knees out. You could certainly be using the back of your chair for your hands, right? Good. A stretch and a strengthener. Ooh. And then come up, bring those feet hip width distance apart. Now I would encourage you to use the back of your chair. This is a thoracic stretch for the upper body. Kind of a variation of downward facing dog using the chair. Hands onto the back of your chair. Back those hips up. Bring your head in between your arms. Feel a stretch underneath the arms, spine, the thoracic area. That's the spine that has ribs attached to it, basically the parts of the spine where the ribs are attached. Feet are hip width distance apart. Maybe soften your knees a little bit. The change here from that calf stretch is the arm position, right? Up higher, so that will change where we feel the stretch. Good job. Soften the knees, walk your feet towards the chair. That is one of my favorites. At the wall is a nice variation with that one too. I do really like that one. Okay, with or without the chair? No, without the chair because you need your hands. Chest expander, arms out in front. Thumbs towards the floor, great big sweep around. For those that can interlace their fingers behind the body, great. If not, hold on to your wrists, your elbows, your forearms, whatever's available to you. Soften your knees while you're standing here though. Good job. Open up that heart. Let it shine. Let it sing. One more breath. Good. Release your chest expander. Roll the shoulders forward. Back into a tricep stretch. Option to go into side bend, so it is important that we're all on the same side. So I'm going to take my left arm overhead first. Right fingers are going to find that left elbow. First, our tricep stretch. We did this on our seats. If you remember, feet are in those nice hip width distance apart. Stance, good. Now permission to stay here in the tricep stretch, or on an exhale if you'd like to side bend to your right. Remember, I maybe look opposite to you, right? I'm not mirroring. So lift for the lefts and the rights. Good. Inhale, get tall. Whew, release those arms for a second. Get the blood back into them, right? Right arm's going up. Left finger's going to find that right elbow. Gentle tricep stretch. Couple breaths, first position. And know that we can stay right here. That might be enough for us today. Or on an exhale if you want to side bend to your left. Good. Inhale, get tall, release that, get blood back into the extremities. Left arm behind your back. Right fingers are going to find your left wrist and circle that left wrist. Gentle pull there, and then maybe your right ear towards the right shoulder. I'm going to turn around just so you see what that looks like this way. So a deep stretch along the left side of the neck here. Oh, no, my head is in the window. There we go. Last breath on this side. Good. Inhale, head comes back up. Release the wrist. Now take that right arm behind the back. Left fingers are going to circle that right wrist. Gentle pull there. And then maybe dropping your left ear towards your left shoulder. Shoulders are away from the ears. Can you soften your knees while you're standing here? Head comes back up, release that wrist. We are going to actually use the seat of our chair for some wrist stretches. Our last movement here. So bring your palms onto your chair. Fingers are pointing towards the back of your chair. A little bit of weight, if that's okay for you, on those wrists. And some of you will stay there. That might feel like enough. Or 1/4 turn out, so now your fingers are pointing to the sides of your chair. Some of you are going to stay there, others maybe 1 more quarter turn, so your fingers are pointing towards your legs. Ooh. And if you're all the way like I am, fingers pointing towards the legs, maybe some gentle circles on those wrists, maybe not. Change the direction of your circles. us. 1/4 turn back out. Quarter turn forward, come up, circle those wrists. And then we're gonna bring the backs of the hands onto your chairs, fingers are pointing towards your legs. Push your wrist creases into your chair. And being mindful because everybody's chair has a different surface. Mine's soft, there's a little too much give here, so I'm gonna back off. So I don't go too far. Soften the knees. Good, peel those hands up off your chair. And that is it for our chair class. If you have time for Shavasana, you could lay down and put your legs up on the chair. If you have to get back to work, I guess sit back on your chair and get back to work. But thank you and have a great rest of your day. Namaste.